Is there anything left to talk about when it comes to serial killer John Wayne Gacy? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll let you know what I think next, right here on Chris Akin Presents. What's going on, everybody? It is Chris Akin, and it is time once again for another edition of Chris Akin Presents. And today I'm going to be talking about a new series on Netflix, and gee, shocking here, Netflix with another documentary about a serial killer. How about that? Netflix, of course, getting to be more and more well-known for their serial killer documentaries, and they're all good. I'm not trying to shit on them like they're bad documentaries or anything, but they are back with another one called Conversations with a Killer, the John Wayne Gacy Tapes. And this just came out end of last month on Netflix, and it is exactly as you would think. There was all these tapes from investigations with John Wayne Gacy that were made, and most of them have never been public until now. And they kind of show another side to John Wayne Gacy than you've seen previously. And I found that to be shocking, and quite honestly, because I've watched at least a dozen documentaries on John Wayne Gacy. And, you know, him and Bundy are the two guys that they just make documentary after documentary after documentary about. So I didn't know that there could be anything new to come out of that story. But yeah, there is. Now, you know, for people that don't know the John Wayne Gacy story, well, I'm not going to tell you all of it. He killed a bunch of people, buried them in his crawl space in his house. And he was one of the sicker fucks out there as far as being a sick fuck serial killer. So that's the short version. You can look him up. It's a crazy, crazy story if you don't know it, but I gotta imagine most of you do know it because A, you're watching Chris Akin Presents, and I talk about serial killer shit all the time, so I imagine you follow that stuff. And B, just because he's one of the most famous serial killers of all time. So what was interesting to me in this documentary is not so much that we heard Gacy telling lies, because he's a serial killer and these guys all just lie. That's what they do. That's part of their MO, is that they're great liars. They're great at fooling people and convincing people that there's something that they're not. And it's not a shock that Gacy was a big liar. What was shocking to me listening to these tapes and as they kind of spelled out the story of a lot of this stuff was how he manipulated what he was saying toward the conversation. He was definitely lying a lot of the time, but he was doing it in a way where he would keep partial pieces of the truth, or of another lie rather, intact. You know, I mean, they would catch him in bold-faced stuff, and he was masterful at taking that lie and integrating enough truth into it, and then integrating more lie to it to make it sound plausible. And that was really, in the end, I'm sure it was his downfall. Well, his downfall was that they found however many bodies in his crawl space. But I mean, it shows that even when the police would get close to this guy, how he was able to maneuver his way out. I mean, in today's world, I don't think a guy like Gacy gets away with what he got away with. I mean, Gacy somehow, some way, and don't ask me how he did it, but he actually did prison time for sodomy, came out, and then became this serial killer, had guys, young men disappearing, that were all working with him and all around him and whatever, and they never caught him. They never caught on to him. They never put him away. They never really got him, and they were on to him. It was clear from this documentary especially, the police were on him. They were following him. They knew he was up to something. They just didn't have a way to prove enough. And a dozen guys got killed as the result of them not catching on, or not catching enough proof to take this motherfucker down. It really is fascinating. It's fascinating to see and hear the detectives talking about it at the same time that you're hearing Gacy tell his stories to the investigators once he was nailed. So, interesting to say the least. I'm not going to say it's the best or the worst. It's, because it's a lot of it is just kind of sitting there looking at a tape reel spin. I mean, I think this would be a better podcast maybe than it is a TV show. But it was definitely interesting, and as somebody that loves these true crime documentaries, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say I didn't. I mean, I don't. It's weird to say that you enjoy people being murdered, but I enjoy the chronicling of it after the fact, I guess. So, yeah, if you're one of these guys that likes the true crime stuff and are always interested in more, well, this is the one. Conversations with a Killer, the John Wayne Gacy tapes, available now on Netflix. And if you're into it, it's worth the watch. Nothing else. I doubt you come out of this thinking, he didn't get a good deal. He got a raw deal. I doubt you're going to come out of it thinking that. You'll definitely think he's a piece of shit that deserved the death that he got. So that's it for this one. John Wayne Gacy continues to fascinate people like myself. And that's going to do it for this episode of Chris Akin Presents. Make sure you do all the podcasty stuff. Would you please leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave us a like, all the good stuff. 5-star review, wherever they take those, all that stuff, okay? And for Chris Akin Presents, I have been Chris Akin, and guess what, folks? I will be again tomorrow. See ya!
myhappydesires.com. Visit us at myhappydesires.com and add some toys to your toy box. Let your imagination be the guide to your stress relief. myhappydesires.com has everything for the perfect play night. Alone or not, you choose. Fuel your desires without breaking the bank. myhappydesires.com.